You've been scrolling through endless grill ads, trying to picture a backyard that actually works for the kind of meals you love to throw together without a nightmare of juggling burners, a tiny prep space, and a fridge that's always a few steps away. You want something that feels solid enough to survive a summer of weather, easy enough that you won't spend half an hour just figuring out how to light it, and worth the price you're about to drop on a single piece of outdoor equipment. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. When I started looking at full-size outdoor kitchen islands, the first thing that made me pause was the sheer footprint. An 84-inch island takes up a lot of real estate, and you have to be sure that your patio or deck can actually accommodate it without turning your space into a tight corridor. That hesitation is what I felt too. What if I end up with a massive slab that looks impressive but ends up being a daily inconvenience? The biggest risk with these all-in-one stations isn't the price tag, it's buying something that doesn't fit your cooking flow or your yard layout. I dug into the specs and a handful of the 21 Amazon reviews that gave the product a 4.8-star average. Even without detailed buyer snippets, the consensus points to a few practical themes that matter when you actually fire it up. First, the grill itself is a 6-burner powerhouse, with 5 main burners plus a dedicated rotisserie burner. That means you can sear a steak on one side, keep chicken on another, and have a low and slow zone for ribs, all without constantly moving pans around. It's the kind of flexibility you'd expect in a restaurant kitchen, but it only makes sense if you regularly cook for groups of 6 or more. If your typical weekend dinner is 2 people with a side salad, that extra firepower might sit idle most of the time. The island's construction uses marine-grade SS304 stainless steel, which is a step up from the thinner sheet metal you see on cheaper setups. In real life, that translates to resistance against rust after a rainy season, and the fact that the surface doesn't develop that orange-brown patina that makes you question whether you're actually cooking on metal or just a rust bucket. The Granite countertop, styled as a black galaxy finish, offers a cool, spacious work area that can double as a serving table when the party is in full swing. I've seen people use it to set out plates, garnish bowls, and even a small ice bucket without worrying about heat damage, because the Granite stays cool under the grill's heat. One of the biggest practical wins is the built-in dual-zone refrigerator. It's tucked right under the prep counter, so you can keep drinks, sauces, or even a slab of meat chilled right where you're working. In a typical backyard grilling session, you end up running back and forth to the house or a separate cooler. This fridge eliminates that back and forth, especially when you're juggling a rotisserie chicken that needs to stay at a steady temperature while you finish the side dishes. The refrigerator runs on the same propane line, so you don't need a separate power source, but that does mean you have to plan your gas supply carefully. Running out of propane halfway through a cookout is a nightmare, and with a 6-burner setup you'll burn through it faster than a single burner. The integrated sink might sound like a luxury, but it's actually a time saver. When you're dealing with marinades, cleaning grill grates, or just rinsing veggies, having a faucet a few inches away keeps the workflow smooth. The only caveat is that the sink is a simple stainless basin without a built-in pump, so you'll need a hose connection to a water source. If your patio doesn't already have a spigot nearby, you'll have to run a hose or invest in a small external pump, which adds a bit of complexity to the installation. Speaking of installation, that's where the hidden trade-off lies. The island comes pre-wired for propane, but you still need a qualified technician to hook it up safely, especially if you want to switch to natural gas later. The weight of the stainless steel frame, granite top, and built-in fridge means you can't just set it down and bolt it yourself. You'll likely need a crew to lift and level it properly. If you're comfortable with a DIY project, you might save on labor, but most buyers end up paying a professional to do the heavy lifting, which can add a few $100s to the total cost. Who should buy this? If you regularly host family gatherings, neighborhood barbecues, or you simply love the idea of a backyard that feels as equipped as a home kitchen, the 84-inch island gives you the space and the tools to cook multiple dishes simultaneously. It shines for people who want a rotisserie kit for whole birds, who need a fridge right at the grill, and who appreciate a dedicated sink for quick cleanup. The island also works